I'm going to start just going over the crypto engineering study group information from Uncloak. This is the second week of its running. Last week we got started. My internet connectivity was terrible. I've been in Antigua for the past couple of weeks. A lot of other things have been going on randomly. In that Rust cryptography engineering section, we have the course session notes, we have the course homework solutions for week 1, and we have the general syllabus. So I'll start with the general syllabus, and then from the general syllabus, I'll go into the session notes and the solutions beyond that, which we did go through all of this information, at least the solutions from chapter 1 and the notes from the week 2. So these are the week 2 notes, right, that are going to be uploaded soon. As weekly programming assignments, and we meet in the Uncloak Discord. And so if you don't know where that is, the Uncloak Discord is right here. And we have like study group forum, we have different study groups you can meet in: the American study group, the Euro study group, the Asia study group, General Rust Help study group. And there's lots of different ways to kind of get involved. There's cryptography chatter, Rust chatter, zero knowledge chatter, and just so many things going on in this Discord channel. So in my opinion, it's the #1 place to find out what's going on. And also the recorded lectures are hosted on YouTube. So again, you can click out to the YouTube. Currently there's only one lecture there. And you know, on my little wonderful device here, I could actually just come in here, you know, go to, I mean, it's actually being a bit annoying, isn't it? But anyways, if I go to the channel, for Uncloak, and I switch account to the actual Uncloak account, and I go to content, and I go to playlists. Actually, oh, there's 4 videos on this playlist. Week 2 has already been added. So again, week 2 has already been added. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Playlists. So there's 4 videos, 2 videos are hidden, and here is the week 2 video. So either way, it's there, it's working. I'm glad it's up there. So let's close that. So why? Learning materials can be scattered, out of date, inaccessible. Rust is also a new language, and it's definitely being used prolifically in the cryptography ecosystem. And so specifically, the solution we're trying to solve is make sure there's more resources available for Rust-based cryptography developers or engineers. So there's a Rust channel specifically in the Discord, and you know, the notes are now being shared on the Uncloak graph. So you can kind of see how there's a README that's connected to the syllabus, and the syllabus is now connected to the course 1 solutions and the session 1 notes. And then we're always going to have course homework 2 solutions, homework 2 notes, and you can hopefully start seeing how the knowledge is all being shared from this one syllabus into these notes. And of course, there can be like solutions that dig into other topics. For example, the solutions from chapter 1 might have to do with like, don't roll your own crypto. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak properly right now. Anyways, why should you not join this group? So if you want to use cryptography tools, ZK stuff, but don't want to actually do engineering, that's cool. You know, resources will be created for that, but you can kind of look at this stuff and get started. So maybe not necessarily be in this specific study group if that's what you're trying to do. Then, the wonderful syllabus. And so week 1 obviously was pretty straightforward. The session notes are here, and you can kind of see the notes honestly. So these are the session notes right here. We can go through them in a second. They're pretty straightforward. And then you can kind of start going through some facts. How do you sign up? Join Discord. Are they going to be recorded? Can you go at your own pace? Yes, everything's on YouTube, and of course you can go at your own pace. What is the time commitment? Maybe 4 to 5 hours per week totally. But you know, some people might take longer if you're not a developer. And if you are a developer, you might be able to get things in a couple hours a week. But reading will take you a few hours a week regardless. Can you join in the middle? Yeah, the book's not too complicated, and the YouTube videos are there recording it, so you can join whenever you want. How How much Rust should you know? Honestly, you should know. I mean, if you know another programming language, you can come in and you use Rust. If you're first time programming, you don't know any Rust, it'll be difficult to go through Rust stuff. Like, I have a hard time with it, to be completely honest. But still, there's lots of articles to kind of get you started understanding how to use Rust. How much math do you have to know? You gotta at least be relatively good at, like, grade 9, 10, 11, 12 math. There's a lot of resources as well to kind of get brushed up on math. You don't need some crazy high level, like, university or graduate level math, but algebra and all that, you do have to know how algebra works. Will there be NFTs for coming? No, there's no grading. Your GitHub history is a more applicable certificate, and we could have fun little things. But for now, your GitHub stuff. How employable will you be after 4 months? That's not really a lot of time to become a cryptographer or be good at cryptography engineering. I'm going to go through the session 1 notes quickly. So technically, session 1 was going through organization. What is the structure of the book, the course? What is the book about? What is Rust? How are we going to be using Rust in this course to educate on cryptography engineering? I actually wrote out the basics of this. Thor added these wonderful notes. I have problems, and so I'm going to delete that. It's going to bother me. But these exercises are hopefully helpful to get people started. So, for example, how much space would be required to store a table for an entire idealized block cipher that operates on 64-bit blocks and has 80-bit keys? So again, these questions are quite complicated. They can be kind of hard to get started. Obviously, this has to do with chapter 3 in the textbook. And so again, if you went to the text and you kind of just scrolled to page 61, right, you would start seeing these questions. So yeah, how much space would be required for all this to happen? Of course, you could read through the textbook and try and get that kind of understanding for the idea of block cipher, block cipher security. Another way, of course, to try and, a lot of people have already answered these questions online. So, of course, you can just be, I feel like in today's day and age, the quick way to get an answer is to Google it. And so I like when people actually write out how they got the solutions. I think this is what we're missing in a lot of these online answers. But okay, so as an example, this is actually tries to give an answer to the solution. So, I'm just quickly trying to showcase how someone came to it. So, first, storing 32-bit block cipher, some amount of space is required, which is also applicable to find the required space for this. That doesn't make sense so far. Let's keep going. The required space is 150 million terabytes of space to store a table for an entire idealized block cipher that contains 64-bit blocks. See, they didn't actually. The most required for 64-bit blocks, which has 80-bit keys, is 100 million terabytes. Yeah, I mean, I still, in my opinion, I don't like how it's just kind of a simple math. I mean, there's no written it out answer. But anyways, I guess to store the table, you need to have, if you wanted to store the table, you would need to have one entry for every key. So you have 80-bit keys, so you need an entry for every single one, 2 to the 80 keys, I guess. And then it operates on 64-bit blocks, so I guess you need 2 to the, is it just 2 to the 64 by 2 to the 80 in like a table? See, I haven't done the math myself, so I have not actually answered these questions. I just kind of the directions that, and so again, over the weekend, I'll be, trying to answer these questions myself personally. Oh yes, the schedule. So over the weekend, I plan to work on my personal solutions. Early next, I plan to have my personal solutions complete by Monday each week. Just the way I would solve the problems, not necessarily always the correct answers, but how we thought I would solve them. And then the idea is that Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays would be focused on reading the content of the text and extra readings that are required for the next week. So for example, I have to do it on my own time But in terms of streaming, you know, I would plan to be potentially overviewing chapters from the syllabus. So for example, let's go to the syllabus actually. It's probably the best way of explaining it. So for example, this week is week 2. We just had the kind of talk about block ciphers. We went through last week's session notes. So this week I plan to have my exercises done by Monday. And I plan to do the reading for chapters 5 and 6, if that's clear. So the chapters for 3 and 4 reading, I've already done it, right, in week 1. So personally, I plan to do chapters 5 and 6 readings Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this upcoming week. And then I'll probably do a stream going over like new directions in cryptography, or, you know, maybe the session 2 extra reading. That'll kind of go Monday to Wednesday or 4. On Thursdays each week, I hope to have the session notes ready. So for example, next Thursday, after I've completed all this, I hope to help creating the session notes for week 3, which will require me to have already read chapters 5 and 6, just to have an understanding of what are some good questions to pull from those chapters. It doesn't mean I've done the homework yet, it just means that I've read the chapters enough to start figuring out some good exercises. And that's pretty much how the week shakes out. By Thursday, I'm going to have the session notes ready. By Friday, by Thursday night, of course, all of the homework, all solutions are ready to go. And then by Friday, the solutions and the session notes and everything is posted onto the Uncloak website. And so next Friday morning, there should be the homework 2 solutions posted in the session notes here because they currently don't exist. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's the weekly schedule for me.